You know that feeling, right? When a fight starts over something so tiny, like a leaky tap, but somehow it blows up into something huge and completely different. Well, today we're going to get into the anatomy of an argument just like that. We'll trace its journey from that first little spark of frustration all the way to a really unexpected moment of connection. This line, it's a classic, isn't it? Why are you getting so angry? It's the kind of thing you say when you feel like the reaction is way bigger than the problem. And honestly, this one question shows you just how far things can spiral from such a tiny beginning. So, where does it all start? Not with some big explosion, but with a simple drip. Let's look at this first stage, the small spark. This is where a simple, practical problem kicks off a much bigger emotional fire. Yup, that's it. The ground zero for this whole thing is a tap that's been leaking for a couple of days. I mean, it's just a logistical problem, right? Easy fix. But as we're about to see, this tap, it's not really about the tap at all. It's about to become a symbol for a whole lot of deeper frustrations. And here we go. The opening shots are fired. The wife makes a totally reasonable, practical request. But the husband, he's lost in his phone and just brushes it off. See, it's immediately not about the tap anymore. Now it's about feeling ignored, about whose time is more important. It's about not being heard. This is like conflict 101. So that leaky tap isn't the real problem. It's what we call a catalyst event. Think of it like pulling the pin on a grenade. The tap is just the pin. The grenade is all those unspoken tensions that have been just sitting there, simmering under the surface, waiting for a reason to go off. Okay, so the spark is lit. Now let's watch how that little flame grows into a wildfire. We're moving into the second stage, the rising noise of blame. This is where things spiral and defensiveness takes over the conversation. Okay, so check out the tactics here. He plays the "I'm not qualified" card, right? Am I a plumber? It's a classic deflection. But then she counters by bringing in a whole new stressor, money. Suddenly, this isn't about a drip anymore. Now it's a fight about competence, about responsibility, and about financial stress. If you break it down, you can see all the classic moves. You've got blame shifting, "I'm not a plumber," defensiveness, and then the worst one, misdirected anger. All that frustration they have for each other starts spilling over onto their kid, who has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. And this is the heartbreaking result. The kid just wants to go play, and a parent snaps. That line, "First your dad annoyed me, now you're doing it," it says everything. The child has become collateral damage, just an easy target for all the anger they can't figure out how to resolve with each other. So the fight is hitting its absolute peak. It feels like it can't get any worse. And then something totally unexpected happens. An accident that becomes a literal turning point in this whole story. Yep, while they're in the bathroom arguing, the door breaks, and now they're locked in. All that anger, all the blame, the frustration, it's all physically trapped in that tiny room right along with them. In a single moment, the entire situation has changed. So what does happen now? There's no storming off, there's no escaping to another room to cool down, no grabbing a phone or turning on the TV to distract yourself. They are physically forced to just be there with each other and with their conflict. That little bathroom has basically become a crucible, a pressure cooker. It's this intense trial where all the escape routes are gone, forcing these two people to actually interact in a new way. And when you put things under that much pressure, something new is bound to come out of it. At first, though, the pressure just makes things worse. The husband's first reaction is just pure, unfiltered frustration. This line right here, this is rock bottom. This is the absolute peak of the conflict, where it feels like there is no coming back. But this is also where the whole story takes a wild turn. And that brings us to our last section, where we see this unbelievable pivot. We're about to watch them go from the height of anger all the way back to nostalgia and even love. I mean, just look at this emotional journey. It is a total roller coaster. It starts with simple annoyance over a tap. That turns into real anger, then total despair when they get locked in. But look at that last stop, nostalgia. How on earth do you get from despair to nostalgia? This is the moment. After all the yelling, in a moment of quiet, one of them remembers this. And suddenly, the bathroom isn't a prison anymore. It's a link to a really powerful, positive memory they share. It becomes a bridge, taking them all the way back to a time before all this frustration. And you can see the change almost instantly. It's so subtle, but it's huge. The husband goes from saying you used to look so good, which is all about the past, to you look good now. That memory didn't just remind them of who they were, it actually changed how they were seeing each other, right there in that moment.
So if we lay out the whole journey, you can see a clear pattern. A trigger starts it, escalation pushes them apart, a crisis forces them to stop and deal with it. But the real magic, the secret ingredient, was that pivot to a positive shared memory. That's what